Hi guys, welcome to the continuation from our summer class. If you've not watched the first video, you can scroll on this page and look for the first video so you can catch up. This is the second video. So in this video, we are looking at the chess pieces. I'm going to introduce the chess pieces to you, their names, the location on the chessboard, and furthermore, we'll talk about how to arrange the chess piece on the chessboard. Other videos contain how they move and capture, so we don't rush things, we are taking it step by step. So you can follow, then reflect on any area you do not understand. Let's dive right into it. This is a chessboard without the chess pieces. So the first piece I will introduce to you on the chessboard is the king. Let's start from the leader of a kingdom, the king. K-I-N-G, king. We have a white king standing on E1 and a black king standing on E8. I covered the name of squares in the previous video, so you can go back and check out how we named squares in the previous video. The king has a certain way it moves. That will be covered in videos coming from in our next classes. However, here, just take note, the kings are on E file. So E1 and E8 respectively. To have a family, to have children, a king is a man. So it is needed or important for the king to get married to a woman. As a man, when you marry a woman, she becomes a wife. When a king marries a woman, she becomes a queen because of the king's status. So the king, being a king, marries a woman and she becomes a queen. So there is need to introduce the queen. In this case, we'll put the white queen first, closer to the king. So the white queen stays closer to the white king. Then black queen stays closer to the black king. Family is about to start. Well, let's relate this in terms of a kingdom. Since the king got married, he decided to employ some staffs for domestic assistance in the house. As a king, you do not expect the king to go errand himself. And because of the love he has for his wife, he cannot just send his wife an errand that much. So one day the king calls his wife and says, okay, my darling, who do we employ and what do we need in this palace? The queen says, my husband, let us get assistants, and those assistants will be given ranks as they grow in our kingdom. The king responded, says, okay, who do we need? The queen says, okay, for our safety and for us to be guarded at all times, we need security. We need security to look after us even while we are asleep. Oh, the king says, that's great. Then we should employ the service of the town crier to go around the village and announce that the king needs bodyguards so that the able-bodied men will come out. So there was a contest, and in this contest, the queen suggested 4 soldiers should be selected to guard the palace. So when this contest was thrown up, there were ranks for winners of the contest. So from the strongest down to the weakest, positions were given. So the contest started, and the king commanded that the winner of the first strong contest should be awarded the title of a rook. The rook are the soldiers that guards the entrance of the palace, and they also guard the entrance of a country. So they stay at the edge end of a country with ammunitions and weapons. So that is how a rook was selected and placed at the edge of the palace doors and the four walls of the palace to protect the palace. Well, the same way the queen was actually supporting the white king to get his armies ready, same way black king was also getting advices from the black queen. So you see, ladies are very good planners. In fact, women, they see far. Kudos to women. I really respect that gender. So they were need to get the knights. Knights are strong officers that rides on horses. On the chessboard, they are given this symbol, this, just to identify and differentiate them from other soldiers. So these particular soldiers are the soldiers that ride on horses. So during the contest, these winners emerged and they were named knights, which specializes on using horses for errands, messages, and wars. Well, it did not end there. We still need some soldiers that would walk inside the palace, because these other soldiers, like the rook and the knight, they are the soldiers that goes out and operate at the surroundings of the palace, not inside the palace. Their business is to come and get instruction inside the palace and leave to execute their instruction. However, some soldiers are needed to enter the palace, stay in the palace, sleep in the palace, and guard the queen and the king in the palace. Even while the king and queen are asleep, they are awake, guarding inside the palace, controlling the affairs of security inside the palace. So those soldiers were selected. We have the bishop that stands closer to the king, and another bishop that stands closer to the queen. Same for white and same for black. You see, if you watch movies very well, you will notice there are certain kind of soldiers that stand beside a king or at the back of a king while he is seated, and beside the queen or at the back of a queen while she is seated. Those soldiers are called the bishops. Yes, they have armors. They have their own kind of uniforms too. Sometimes they hold spears and they hold shield, or they hold a sword or shield. However, they protect the affairs inside the palace. Now, we have secured the king and queen. What do you expect? We can't just leave only these soldiers to do the whole work when war comes or in terms of danger. The queen woke up very late at night, around 11 p.m., taps the king and say, "My husband, we have tried, however, we haven't tried enough." The king said, "My queen, talk to me. What is it?" Then the queen said, "Oh, my husband, we need many more soldiers that can defend us in terms of invasion. When the enemy comes attacking us, we send them by foot. We call them the foot soldiers. And moreover, my bishops are becoming tired of the errand I send them. So we need more hands in the palace. The king said, oh, that is true. We need foot soldiers. Yes. So there was another context, and this time 8 soldiers will be selected to stay available within the palace, 4 inside the palace, and 4 outside the palace in case of any impromptu errand or to wage defense when there is an attack on the palace before the main soldiers comes around or go into the war. So the contest produced these beautiful soldiers known as the pawns. So if you notice the way I arranged them, you will see that the rooks are guarding the entrance to the palace. Look at the rooks there, A1 and H1, H8 and A8. The 9th closer to the rooks are there on that B file respectively and G file. We have the bishops, 1 for the queen and 1 for the king, 1 for the queen and 1 for the king. Then the soldiers, you see, they are in front protecting the other bigger soldiers, including the king and the queen. This is how we arrange chessboard. There is nothing special about it. Look at it yourself. It is not hard. And the game is not hard to learn. So, what are you waiting for? Are you going to buy your chessboard now or not? Because chess has started. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, share this to friends that want to know about chess. And stay tuned. More videos are still coming.